In April 1945, Nazi Germany clung to survival, its capital a mere 37 miles from the Soviet Red Army's grasp. Marshal Zhukov, commanding the First Belarusian Front, stood on the Oder River's muddy banks, his eyes fixed on the Seelow Heights, a final, stubborn ridgeline held by General Theodore Bussy's battered Ninth Army. This bloody clash, the prelude to Berlin's fall, was a crucible of attrition, its echoes resonating in 2025's crises. The Taiwan Strait showdown on April 23rd, where Chinese J-16s challenged the USS William P. Lawrence, and the Iran-Israel war, which cripples Russia's drone-dependent war in Ukraine, per HUR reports. The Seelow Heights carnage, tens of thousands dead in days, reveals the desperate cost of authoritarian regimes, a warning for today's fractured world. By January 1945, the Red Army had obliterated Germany's Eastern Front gains, reclaiming Soviet territories and storming into Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia. Operation Barbarossa's 1941 toll, 3 million Soviet losses, per Soviet archives, was avenged as Zhukov's First Belarusian Front, over 1 million strong, reached the Oder and Neisse rivers, 59 kilometers from Berlin. Germany, battered by Allied bombings, the loss of Romania's oil fields in 1944, and relentless defeats, fielded a hollowed-out army group Vistula. The Ninth Army, with 12,000 killed and tens of thousands captured, per German records, comprised understrength divisions, untrained Volkssturm militia, boys and elderly conscripts, and demoralized veterans. "We knew the end was near," a German soldier wrote, per memoirs, but fought out of fear, not hope. This desperation mirrors Russia's 2025 Ukraine war, where 1 million casualties and 82% drone failure rates, per CEPA, expose a crumbling military. Iran's Shahed, 136 drones, vital to Russia's campaign, falter as USB-2s and Israeli F-35 strike Tehran's factories, per Reuters, echoing Germany's 1945 resource starvation. China's J-16 provocations in the Taiwan Strait, per Navy Times, exploit global distractions, much like Hitler's last-ditch defenses. The Seelow Heights, rising 40 to 60 meters above the Oder's floodplain, formed a natural stronghold. German engineers, leveraging spring thaws, open upstream reservoirs to flood the valley, turning fields into a swampy quagmire. Minefields, anti-tank ditches, and concrete bunkers fortified the ridges, with 3 defensive belts extending to the Wotan line, 16 to 24 kilometers toward Berlin. Machine gun nests, anti-tank guns, and artillery emplacements covered sparse paths, creating kill zones. General Bussy, despite fuel and ammunition shortages, saw the terrain's advantage. "Swamps block armor. Only massed infantry and artillery can break through," he wrote, per German logs. Zhukov's forces, 10 armies, including the 8th Guards, 1st Polish, and 1st Guards Tank Army, boasted 3,000 tanks, 9,000 guns across 2 under-regiments, and 4,000 aircraft from the 16th and 18th Air Armies, per Soviet records, ensuring overwhelming might. This fortified defense parallels Iran's 2025 control of the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of global oil flows, per EIA. Russia's shadow fleet of 350 to 600 aging tankers, evading sanctions, faces U.S. and European naval interdictions amid the Iran war, per The Guardian, mirroring Germany's desperate fortifications. In a world of data breaches and surveillance, much like the chaos of war, your personal information is at risk. Data brokers sell your address, phone number, and more to marketers, employers, or scammers. Our sponsor, SecureShield, fights back by demanding brokers remove your data. I've used SecureShield. It's seamless. Create an account, grant permission, and they handle the rest, countering resistance and providing updates. With a 30-day money-back guarantee, it's risk-free. Support our channel and protect your privacy with our link below, using code ARMCHAIRHISTORIAN for 60% off an annual plan. At 3 a.m. on April 16, 1945, Zhukov launched a cataclysmic barrage. Over 9,000 guns, mortars, and Katyusha rockets, nicknamed Stalin's organs for their howling salvos, pounded German positions, shaking the earth. Volkssturm recruits, some as young as 15, cowered in trenches as shells tore through the night. It was hell itself, a survivor recalled, per German memoirs. Zhukov's 143 searchlights, meant to blind defenders, backfired, illuminating Soviet troops amid dust and smoke from their own barrage. Infantry waded through waist-deep mud. Tanks sank in ditches, and artillery struggled to reposition in the quagmire. German bunkers, dug deep into the heights, survived, allowing defenders to man machine guns and 88mm anti-tank guns. Soviet troops, cresting the lower slopes, faced a maelstrom. German defenses, using the ridge's contours, funneled attackers into crossfire corridors. The Luftwaffe, scraping together 200 fighters, bombers, and kamikaze pilots, per German air logs, targeted Soviet bridgeheads. This chaos resembles Ukraine's 2025 Operation Spiderweb, striking Russian assets 2,200 miles away. Per Defense Express, despite Iran's disrupted drone supply. Per Reuters. Bussy, recognizing head-on defense was futile, adopted tactical withdrawals. As Soviets neared trenches, Germans retreated to higher positions, forcing uphill assaults under relentless fire. Panzer and Panzergrenadier units, though limited to 150 operational tanks, per German records, launched sharp counterattacks from concealed slopes, exploiting Soviet disarray. "We struck when they faltered," a Panzer officer wrote, but their numbers were endless. Soviet T-34s and infantry, wave after wave, pressed forward, dragging mired vehicles through mud. Reinforcements, including Shtrafniki penal units, absorbed horrific losses. 33,000 Soviet deaths, possibly 60,000 per unofficial estimates, and 12,000 German losses per battle records. This attritional grind mirrors Russia's 2025 Ukraine strategy, where conscripts face brutal losses per World Crunch, and China's Taiwan Strait J-16 provocations exploit Western focus on Iran per Navy Times. The Shtrafniki's 90% casualty rates, per Soviet archives, echo the Ninth Army's futile resistance. On April 17th, Zhukov intensified the assault. The 248th and 301st Rifle Divisions, with the 9th Rifle Corps, captured Gusso village, breaching German lines. By afternoon, the 57th Guards Rifle Division and 11th Tank Corps stormed Seelow, cracking the heights defenses. "We fought house by house," a Soviet soldier recalled per memoirs, knowing Berlin was close. On April 18th, the 8th Guards Army shattered the Wotan line, collapsing Bussy's resistance. By April 19th, the 9th Army, fragmented and encircled, disintegrated. Survivors fled toward Berlin, leaving the capital exposed. The Seelow Heights, scarred by craters and littered with wrecked tanks, marked Germany's final stand. This breakthrough parallels Ukraine's 2025 advances, exploiting Russia's weakened state as Iranian drone factories falter under U.S. strikes, per HUR. The Taiwan Strait incident, per Foreign Affairs, shows how global tensions enable such collapses as China tests Western resolve. The Seelow Heights cost 33,000 Soviet lives, possibly double per some estimates, and 12,000 German deaths, paving the way for Berlin's fall on May 2, 1945. The battle's attrition exposed the desperation of collapsing regimes. In 2025, Russia's Ukraine war, with 1 million casualties per SEPA and reliance on failing Garin, 2 drones, mirrors the 9th Army's futility. The Iran war's naval interdictions threaten Russia's Shadow Fleet, per The Guardian, while China's Taiwan Strait provocations, per Navy logs, exploit global chaos. The Seelow Heights, like the Shtrafniki's sacrifices, warn of authoritarian regimes' human toll. Subscribe to Armies of the Past for uncensored documentaries, exploring history's lessons in today's conflicts.